Hello, my name is Scott Kuhns. I'm a scientist in the biopharmaceutical industry, and today I'm going to talk to you a little bit about personalized prescriptions. Now, any discussion related to personalized prescriptions requires that we consider what it is that makes us individuals, what makes us biologically unique from one another. And the answer to that, of course, is our genes. The collection of genes that makes up an individual is the genotype. And our genotype translates to our phenotype. Our phenotype is the collection of traits and appearances that comprise our outwardly appearances. A common everyday example we're all familiar with is eye color. Eye color is very diverse among our traits that we present to the outside world, and those are a direct reflection of the diversity in our genotypes. In fact, it turns out the human genome is actually very accommodating to diverse genotypes, very adaptable, built for adaptation for the widely ranging habitats across the earth, and reflected in the outward manifestations that we see in our populations today, which reflect our ancestral environments. In fact, that same variability that you see in our outward traits is also going on where you can't see it in our bodies in the exact same manner with a similar degree of diversity. Our metabolic processes are also driven by proteins encoded in our genes and similarly diverse. In fact, a single amino acid substitution driven by a single codon change between person 1 and person 2, trait 1 and trait 2, as illustrated by the surface structure of these example proteins, can have substantial impact in how those proteins function. One category of proteins that are also influenced by our genetic diversity are enzymes. Enzymes are proteins that are central to all metabolic and cellular processes. They can be thought of as little factories. They take chemicals and convert them from one kind into another, usually by putting them in unique proximity or in a unique orientation. They can be thought of as somewhat akin to a manufacturing robot, where the tolerances are very precise, where the robotic arms put components in positions that are tightly specified. Similarly, if a robot is slightly out of place, as an enzyme would be slightly out of place with an amino acid substitution, there can be significant impact in the finished product. So what that means is, since everybody is a little bit different on the inside, just as they are on the outside, a single individual drug treatment or approach can lead to significantly different outcomes inside the person. One drug can look to an individual like several different kinds of drugs, depending on their genotypes and phenotypes. The consequence of this is that not everybody will be able to enjoy the same therapeutic benefit from a given pharmaceutical regimen. Today, we're getting closer and closer to the point where we can turn that idea around, where we can treat everybody individually based on their phenotypes with a unique approach, therapeutic approach, such that everybody then can realize the similar desired therapeutic output. A good example of how this is being put into practice today, personalized prescriptions, is in the treatment of pain. Codeine, a very common pain medication, is converted to morphine in the liver by a specific enzyme, cytochrome P2D6, an enzyme which we now know is diverse across populations and consequently will lead to diverse outcomes based on a particular codeine treatment regimen. So if we overlay this example with codeine on the idea that was shown a couple of slides ago, wherein a number of different phenotypes, and in this case, codeine metabolizers, are treated with the same dosage and the same treatment schedule, you'll get different outcomes. Again, if you're treating to an average, some patients will enjoy benefit, others will not get pain relief, others might feel very unpleasant symptoms. So today it's very common for a physician to assess the phenotype of a patient for their cytochrome P2D6 and tailor or individualize or personalize the prescription of codeine so that everybody, regardless of their phenotype, can enjoy the same pain relief intended by varying the nature of the prescription. I hope this very brief introduction to personalized prescriptions was informative and helpful.